I'm going to show you 7 highly sensitive places you can kiss a woman that would take her to cloud 9 in less than a second. Statistics reveal that 90% of women cheat because of extremely low sexual satisfaction in their relationships or marriages. Well, this is one of those videos that doesn't just solve that puzzle for you, but also builds you into the man with irresistible charm and masculinity. So, no long stories. Let's get into it. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught, "No great thing is created suddenly." This applies to intimacy as well. The most powerful moments are not rushed. They are built slowly, through presence, through patience, through the quiet understanding that her body and her emotions are deeply connected. When you approach intimacy with awareness instead of urgency, you become the kind of man she remembers. Because intimacy is not about technique, it is about trust. It is about creating a space where she feels safe enough to let go completely. And that safety begins with how you touch her, where you touch her, and the energy you bring to every single moment. 1. Base of the neck, the nape. This isn't just a physical area. It carries meaning. It's a place she cannot see, which naturally makes it more vulnerable. Because of that, any attention there requires a level of trust. Her body becomes more aware when something happens in a space she can't monitor, and that awareness heightens the emotional impact of even the smallest gesture. Imagine walking with her after a long evening. The conversation has slowed, and there's a quiet comfort between you. You gently move her hair aside, not abruptly, not rushed, but with intention. You pause for a moment. That pause is important. It shows you're present, not acting on impulse. Then you place a soft, slow kiss at the back of her neck. What she feels in that moment isn't just physical sensation. It's awareness. It's the realization that you're paying attention to her in a way that feels calm and grounded. That kind of attention communicates safety without needing words. It tells her you're not rushing, not forcing anything, just experiencing the moment with her. The nape of the neck is one of the most vulnerable areas of the human body. In evolutionary terms, it is a place that requires immense trust to expose. When she allows you access to that space, she is unconsciously communicating that she feels safe with you. And safety, for a woman, is the foundation of desire. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When you have the power to slow down, to resist the urge to rush, you demonstrate a strength that she instinctively trusts. That trust is what allows her to relax, to let go, and to fully experience the moment. 2. Behind the ear. This space is deeply personal. It's where whispers happen, where closeness naturally lives. It's not an area people interact with casually, which is exactly why it carries so much emotional weight. When you enter that space, even gently, it signals intimacy without needing anything dramatic or exaggerated. Picture sitting beside her in a quiet moment. Maybe the conversation has softened. Maybe there's a comfortable silence between you. Instead of filling that silence with unnecessary words, you lean in slightly. Not quickly, not suddenly, just enough for her to feel your presence shift closer. You might say something softly, something simple, something that belongs only in that moment. Then gently, you place a soft kiss just behind her ear. What makes this powerful isn't intensity, it's subtlety. It's the quietness of it. Her mind becomes more aware because there's no noise, no distraction. Everything slows down for a second. That small gesture creates warmth that spreads, not just physically, but emotionally. A woman once described this as the moment everything felt real. She said it wasn't about being impressed or overwhelmed. It was about feeling close in a way that didn't feel forced. That's the difference. This kind of touch doesn't try to take control of the moment. It blends into it. It makes her feel like she's part of something calm, something intentional, and that's what creates emotional closeness when she feels chosen in a quiet, effortless way. The area behind the ear is rich with nerve endings. It is incredibly sensitive to light touch. But more than that, it is an area of intimacy that signals trust and closeness. When you kiss her there, you are telling her that you are not in a hurry, that you value the moment, that you want to be close to her in a way that is gentle and respectful. Seneca wrote, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence on the future." When you are fully present in that moment, without any agenda, without any rush, she feels that. and that feeling is what creates the deepest connection. 3. Inner wrist. This is one of the most overlooked areas, yet it carries a quiet kind of intimacy that most men completely miss. It's delicate, soft, and just beneath the surface is her pulse, her natural rhythm, something deeply tied to her emotional state. Because of that, any attention here feels more personal than it looks. Imagine you're sitting together. Maybe she's telling you a story or sharing something about her day. You're holding her hand naturally, not forcing anything, just being present in the moment. Instead of interrupting or rushing ahead, you pause. That pause matters. It shows you're not trying to control the moment, you're experiencing it with her. Then, gently, you bring her hand slightly closer and softly kiss her wrist. What makes this powerful isn't the action itself. It's the intention behind it. It communicates patience. It shows you're paying attention not just to her words, but to her presence. It says, without speaking, I'm here with you. A woman once described this kind of moment as something that completely shifted how she saw a man. She said, "It felt like he noticed something about me that no one else ever did. That's what makes it stand out. It's not loud or obvious. It's subtle and intentional." This kind of gesture creates a calm, emotional connection. It doesn't rush or overwhelm. Instead, it builds a quiet sense of trust where she feels comfortable enough to relax and be herself. And that kind of feeling is rare, which is exactly why it stays with her. The inner wrist is one of the most sensitive areas of the body. The skin is thin and the pulse is visible. It is a place of vulnerability, and when you touch it with intention, you are communicating that you see her in a way that most men do not. You are acknowledging her humanity, her fragility, her beauty, and that recognition is deeply moving. 4. Collarbone. Close to her heart, both physically and symbolically, the collarbone carries a quiet emotional weight that many people don't consciously recognize but deeply feel. It's a naturally exposed area, often associated with softness and vulnerability, which is why the way you approach it matters so much. Imagine standing close to her after a meaningful conversation. There's a pause, not awkward, but comfortable, the kind of silence where nothing needs to be said. Instead of rushing or trying to escalate the moment, you stay present. You move slowly with intention and place a gentle kiss near her collarbone. What she feels in that moment isn't intensity. It's calm. It's grounding. It's the sense that you're not trying to take control of the moment, but share it with her. That difference is everything. A woman once described this kind of moment as unexpectedly peaceful. She said it didn't feel like pressure or performance. It felt like being appreciated in a quiet, genuine way. And that's what makes this area so powerful. It creates closeness without overwhelming her. This isn't about speed or passion. In fact, rushing here often breaks the feeling entirely. It works because it's slow, because it's intentional, because it feels natural rather than forced. When done right, a simple gesture like this creates a sense of emotional ease. It allows her to relax, to stay in the moment, and to feel connected without needing anything more. And often that calm connection is what leaves the strongest impression. The collarbone is a threshold. It marks the boundary between the public and the private, between what she shows the world and what she keeps for herself. When you kiss her there, you are crossing that threshold with her permission, and that crossing is deeply intimate. 5. Inside of the elbow. This is one of those places almost no one thinks about, and that's exactly what gives it power. It's subtle, unexpected, and easy to overlook, which means when attention is given here, it immediately stands out. The inside of the elbow is soft and sensitive, not just physically, but psychologically. It's not an area people are used to being touched with intention. Imagine you're close to her, maybe sitting side by side or standing near each other in a relaxed setting. The moment isn't loud or intense. It's calm. Instead of following the usual patterns, you gently take her arm or guide it slightly and place a soft, unhurried touch or kiss on the inside of her elbow. No rush, no exaggeration, just a quiet, intentional gesture. What makes this meaningful is that it breaks expectation. She doesn't anticipate it, which makes her more aware of it. Her attention sharpens, not because it's dramatic, but because it's different. It shows you're not operating on autopilot or copying what you've seen elsewhere. You're actually present, actually paying attention to her in a real way. A woman once described a moment like this as the point where I realized he wasn't like everyone else. She said, "It wasn't about intensity. It was about how natural and thoughtful it felt." That kind of awareness creates a different kind of connection. It communicates curiosity and authenticity. It shows that you're exploring the moment with her, not rushing through it. And that alone creates a sense of closeness that feels genuine, not rehearsed. The inside of the elbow is a place of vulnerability. It is soft, unprotected, and rarely touched. When you give it attention, you are telling her that you notice the details, that you appreciate her fully, and that you are not afraid to be gentle. And that gentleness is a form of strength. 6. Stomach area. This is one of the most emotionally sensitive areas for many women, not just physically, but psychologically. It's a place often tied to vulnerability, self-image, and personal comfort. Because of that, any attention here requires a deeper level of trust. It's not something that should ever feel rushed or taken for granted. Imagine you're already in a moment where she feels comfortable with you. There's already a sense of connection, a sense of ease. You don't move here quickly or without awareness. Instead, you slow down even more. Your touch is gentle, unforced, and completely free of pressure. What she feels in that moment isn't just physical contact. It's acceptance. It's the feeling that she doesn't have to hide or tense up, that she can simply exist as she is without being judged. And that feeling is powerful because it's rare. A woman once shared that she always felt slightly guarded when it came to this area, even with people she trusted. But one experience changed that for her. She said the difference wasn't what was done, but how it was done slowly, gently, without expectation. She described it as, "The first time I didn't feel like I had to be perfect." That's what this communicates. It says, "I see you fully, and I'm not asking you to be anything else." This kind of approach creates emotional safety. And when a woman feels emotionally safe, she relaxes. She opens up, not because she's being pushed, but because she feels understood. That's the key here. It's not about the action, it's about the energy behind it. The stomach is one of the most vulnerable areas of the body. It is where we hold tension, where we feel anxiety, where we protect ourselves. When you approach it with gentleness and acceptance, you are telling her that she is safe with you, that she does not have to protect herself. And that safety is what allows true intimacy to flourish. 7. Hip area. This area represents both vulnerability and comfort at the same time. It's a place where physical closeness meets emotional trust, which is why the way you approach it matters more than most men realize. It's not about intensity, it's about awareness. Imagine standing close to her, maybe in a quiet moment where there's already a sense of connection between you. Instead of rushing or making sudden movements, you move slowly. Your hand rests lightly near her hip. Not gripping, not pulling, just present. That light, controlled contact shows restraint. And restraint is what builds trust. What she feels in that moment isn't pressure, it's stability. It tells her that you're in control of yourself, that you're not acting out of impulse, and that you're fully aware of her comfort. That alone creates a sense of ease that allows her to relax instead of tense up. A woman once described this kind of moment as quietly grounding. She said it wasn't about what was happening, but how it felt, calm, steady, and safe. She didn't feel rushed or overwhelmed. She felt like she could stay in the moment without needing to pull away. This is where most men get it wrong. They move too quickly, too forcefully, or without reading the energy of the moment. But when you slow down and stay present, everything changes. This area isn't about taking the moment further. It's about holding the moment where it is. And when a woman feels that level of patience and control, it naturally builds trust. And trust is what allows everything else to develop at its own pace. The hip area is a place of balance. It is where the body meets, where movement begins. When you place your hand there with presence and intention, you are communicating that you are grounded, that you are steady, that you are someone she can lean on. And that steadiness is deeply attractive. And then there's something even simpler than all of this. A gentle hand placed on her lower back. This isn't about desire. It's about support. Imagine walking through a crowd or standing close together. Your hand rests lightly on her lower back. It says without words, "I'm here." Many women describe this as one of the most comforting gestures because it feels grounding and protective. A man once described slow dancing with a woman and how she leaned into him when his hand rested there. He said he felt the exact moment she relaxed. That wasn't choreography. That was trust. And that's what all of this comes down to. Intimacy isn't about technique. It's about awareness. It's about presence. It's about understanding that her body is not just physical, it's emotional and deeply connected to how she feels in the moment. When you slow down, when you pay attention, when you approach her with care instead of urgency, something shifts. She doesn't just feel touched, she feels understood, and that's what stays with her. The Stoics understood this truth centuries ago. They knew that the greatest power a man can possess is power over himself. When you have the power to slow down, to resist the urge to rush, to approach her with patience and presence, you become a man of substance. And that substance is what creates deep, lasting attraction. I hope you learned something today. I'll see you in the next video.